Hurricanes. The very word evokes fear and awe. They are monstrous storms, swirling forces of nature capable of unimaginable destruction. These giants of wind and water leave a path of devastation in their wake. Homes are reduced to rubble, lives are lost, communities are forever scarred. The United States, with its long coastlines, knows this terror all too well. Over the last century, our nation has been battered by some of the most devastating hurricanes in history. These storms serve as stark reminders of the power of nature. They are a force to be reckoned with. We must understand them, we must prepare for them, and we must act to lessen their impact, because the threat of hurricanes is only increasing. The names echo through history: Labor Day, Camille, Andrew, Michael, each one a Category 5 hurricane, each one a nightmare etched in the memory of our nation. In 1935, the Labor Day hurricane, the most intense to ever hit the US, slammed into the Florida Keys. Winds roared at speeds never before recorded. The storm surge swallowed everything in its path. Over 400 lives were lost, many of them World War I veterans.
Camille in 1969 left a trail of destruction across the Gulf Coast. Mississippi was particularly hard hit. The storm surge reached a staggering 24 feet, obliterating coastal communities. Andrew, in 1992, tore through South Florida with terrifying force. Homes were reduced to matchsticks. Billions of dollars in damage were left behind. Then came Michael in 2018, blasting into the Florida Panhandle. It intensified rapidly, becoming a monstrous Category 5 just before landfall. Mexico Beach was practically erased from the map. These are just a few of the Category 5 hurricanes that have slammed into the United States. Each storm left behind a legacy of loss, a grim reminder of the destructive power of these storms.
Imagine the weight of knowing a storm is coming. Imagine the responsibility of warning people, of trying to convey the sheer terror about to unfold. This is the burden carried by meteorologists. They are scientists, yes, but they are also human beings. And increasingly, they are grappling with the emotional toll of their jobs.
John Morales, a veteran meteorologist in Miami, knows this burden well. He's been forecasting hurricanes for decades, but in recent years, something has changed. The storms are becoming more intense, more unpredictable, more terrifying. Morales has spoken about the emotional toll of reporting on these monster storms. He sees the data, he understands the science, and it terrifies him. Morales' experience is a stark reminder. This is not just about data points and weather models. It's about people's lives. It's about communities being torn apart. And it's about the emotional toll of witnessing devastation again and again.
Section 4. When the weather turns personal. For many meteorologists, the job is becoming deeply personal. They are seeing the impacts of climate change firsthand. They are the ones tracking the storms, watching as they intensify at alarming rates.
They are the ones warning the public, pleading for people to take cover, to heed the warnings. This is not just about science anymore. It's about survival.
Meteorologists are trained to be calm, to be objective, but in the face of increasingly devastating storms, many are finding it impossible to maintain detachment. They are speaking out not just as scientists, but as concerned citizens. They are urging action. They are begging people to pay attention because they know what's at stake. Section 5. The warming seas fueling the fury. The science is clear. Climate change is making hurricanes more dangerous. Warmer ocean temperatures are like fuel for these monstrous storms.
They intensify more rapidly, leading to more destructive winds and heavier rainfall. The link is undeniable. As our planet warms, the oceans are absorbing a significant amount of this heat. This warm water provides the energy that fuels hurricanes.
And it's not just the intensity. Climate change is also impacting the way hurricanes behave. They are moving more slowly, stalling over areas and dumping record amounts of rain. This leads to catastrophic flooding, as we saw with Hurricane Harvey in 2017. The evidence is mounting. The connection between climate change and hurricane intensity is becoming impossible to ignore. We are living in a world where hurricanes are bigger, stronger, and more destructive, and unless we act, the situation will only get worse. Section 6, a changing climate, a world at risk. The threat of hurricanes is not going away. In fact, it's becoming more dangerous every year. As climate change accelerates, we can expect to see even more intense hurricanes in the future. This is the reality we face. A world where extreme weather events are becoming the norm. This is not just a problem for coastal communities. The impacts of hurricanes are felt far and wide. From supply chain disruptions to economic losses, these storms have a ripple effect across the country. We are at a crossroads. We can continue down the current path, ignoring the warnings and facing the consequences, or we can choose to act to address climate change head-on and create a safer future. Section 7, our call to action, protecting our planet, our future. The time for debate is over. The time for action is now. We need to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. We need to invest in renewable energy. We need to adapt to the changing climate. This is not just the responsibility of governments and policymakers, it's up to all of us.
We can all make changes in our daily lives to reduce our carbon footprint. We can support businesses and organizations that are committed to sustainability. We can make our voices heard, demand action from our leaders, vote for candidates who prioritize climate change.
The future of our planet depends on it. The time to act is now. The fate of future generations hangs in the balance. Let's not let them down. Let's be the generation that turns the tide. Let's create a safer, more sustainable future for all. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and comment below. Pause 2S. After 40 years of studying the skies, Milton, a veteran meteorologist, reflects on the changes he has witnessed. His voice carries the weight of decades, the urgency of now. Pause 1S. When I started, we talked about weather patterns like they were predictable, almost friendly. But now it's different. The storms are fiercer, the droughts longer, the heat waves more relentless. It's like the planet is crying out for help, and we, the scientists, are its interpreters. Pause 1S. Milton's eyes, though unseen, seem to hold the stories of countless storms and the silent suffering they've caused. His voice trembles slightly, not with fear, but with a deep-seated resolve. Pause 1S. I've seen communities devastated, lives uprooted, and yet I've also seen resilience, people coming together, rebuilding, adapting. It's this spirit that gives me hope, but hope alone isn't enough. We need action, we need change. Pause 1S. He speaks of the science, the data, but also of the human element, the faces behind the numbers. Pause 1S. Every degree of warming, every ton of carbon released, it all adds up. But so do our actions, our choices. Each one of us has the power to make a difference. It's a heavy burden, but it's also an incredible opportunity. Pause 1S. As the screen fades to black, Milton's final words linger, a call to arms, a plea for the planet. Pause 1S. We can't turn back time, but we can change the future. Let's make it one worth living in, for ourselves, for our children, for every living being that calls this planet home. Pause 2S. The music swells, carrying the message forward, leaving the viewers with a sense of urgency, but also hope. The credits roll, a reminder that the story is far from over and the next chapter is ours to write.